Is it okay?
Yes.
Is it okay?
হ্যাঁ, দেখা যাচ্ছে মধুপ্রণাদি।
উল্টো না তো লোগোটা?
না না না, একদম ঠিক আছে, পারফেক্ট আছে।
Recording should be closed now, no? No, we should not.
Okay.
There is no sound with the video.
Yeah, Sanjay, video sound. Just please check.
Okay.
Yeah, Sanjay, sound is not coming. Yeah, you just click on that open with the system sound. Please check.
industrial refrigeration is the backbone of modern industry, essential for diverse processes in numerous industries. Since 1962, Frick India has been the most experienced and largest industrial refrigeration equipment manufacturing company in India. We provide complete turnkey solutions for almost all industrial refrigeration applications, from designing, manufacturing, installation and servicing. That pioneering vision and able guidance of our Managing Director, Mr. Jasmohan Singh, has now made Frick India Limited one of the global leaders in industrial refrigeration. Our expertise in manufacturing and assembly of various refrigeration products and installations stems from many sources, including a robust manufacturing experience stretching back half a century. Now application of latest manufacturing machines like various CNC machines and fully automated laser cutting machine are matching Industry 4.0 standards. Our services and products are available in unmatched quality, as we are adept at understanding our clients' needs and providing tailor-made solutions. As a result, our products and services have received certifications of the highest standards. We export industrial refrigeration equipment, turnkey solutions, and services to more than 50 countries worldwide. Frick India's superlative products such as rotary twin-screw compressors, high-speed reciprocating compressors, air handling units, condensers, pressure vessels, and other equipment are available in various models. Our complete range of industrial products meet the highest standards and comply with all the appropriate industry regulations. We have also started discontinuous type PUF panels manufacturing unit for our various turnkey projects. We also provide a Frick India automation system, a cloud-based access for maximizing energy and cost savings. Our manufacturing division is backed by a stringent quality control process to ensure excellence in performance and production. Frick India has an in-house NABL-approved testing lab and various test rigs to ensure that our products meet our clients' high expectations. Our highly experienced team of engineers and designers in research and development department also allows us to constantly push the envelope, not just in our products, but also in helping us incorporate the latest industry trends in efficiency, energy saving, and sustainability. Keeping in mind of global warming, we use ammonia as a natural refrigerant in our systems, as it has zero ozone depletion properties or greenhouse gases, significantly reducing plant CO2 emissions. Frick India has experienced teams of highly skilled and specially trained engineers and technicians available 24/7 on dedicated support to execute all types of industrial refrigeration and air conditioning work installed by us. Frick India offers maintenance, operation, skill development program and training with easily available spares as required for smooth functioning and efficiency of refrigeration systems. No wonder we count amongst our clients some of the biggest and most famous names in food processing and cold chain industry, in dairy and ice cream industry, in beverages and brewery industry, in poultry and meat industry, in fisheries and seafood industry, in chemical and pharmaceutical industry, along with every other field requiring industrial refrigeration. Because if you're looking for the best in industrial refrigeration, you still can't beat the system when it's all Frick India.
हेलो सर, नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते प्रसन्ना, कैसे हो?
हेलो।
हेलो, नमस्ते प्रसन्ना, कैसे हो?
ये सर, नमस्ते सर। आई एम गुड सर।
गुड। कैसा चल रहा है अभी? like I saw some good push in primaries last month. So
या
so where was that from? Was that more from online या फिर more from modern trade?
मोर फ्रॉम मॉडर्न ट्रेडर सर।
अच्छा
ई-कॉमर्स has slightly dropped,
अच्छा।
but MT has picked up. Yeah.
MD में कौन से फॉर्मेट्स में था ये? Was it more DMart?
MT में DMart में has picked up sir.
And
DMart has given good number.
DMart has given a good number.
Yeah. Second is the more again.
More का number ठीक था। And how are we looking this month? इस महीने कैसा लग रहा है अभी तक?
This month looking good sir. तो started तो ठीक है। And second थोड़े low push है। और I think number हो जाएगा।
The key is secondaries, huh, Prasanna? The key is secondaries. So I always keep saying. And what about our fill rates to big basket?
Industrial refrigeration is the backbone of modern industry, essential for diverse processes in numerous industries. Since 1962, Frick India has been the most experienced and largest industrial refrigeration equipment manufacturing company in India. We provide complete turnkey solutions for almost all industrial refrigeration applications, from designing, manufacturing, installation, and servicing. That pioneering vision and able guidance of our Managing Director, Mr. Jas Mohan Singh, has now made Frick India Limited one of the global leaders in industrial refrigeration. Our expertise in manufacturing and assembly of various refrigeration products and installations stems from many sources, including a robust manufacturing experience stretching back half a century. Now application of latest manufacturing machines like various CNC machines and fully automated laser cutting machine are matching Industry 4.0 standards. Our services and products are available in unmatched quality, as we are adept at understanding our clients' needs and providing tailor-made solutions. As a result, our products and services have received certifications of the highest standards. We export industrial refrigeration equipment, turnkey solutions, and services to more than 50 countries worldwide. Frick India's superlative products such as rotary twin-screw compressors, high-speed reciprocating compressors, air handling units, condensers, pressure vessels, and other equipment are available in various models. Our complete range of industrial products meet the highest standards and comply with all the appropriate industry regulations. We have also started discontinuous type PUF panels manufacturing unit for our various turnkey projects. We also provide a Frick India automation system, a cloud-based access for maximizing energy and cost savings. Our manufacturing division is backed by a stringent quality control process to ensure excellence in performance and production. Frick India has an in-house NABL-approved testing lab and various test rigs to ensure that our products meet our clients' high expectations. Our highly experienced team of engineers and designers in research and development department also allows us to constantly push the envelope, not just in our products, but also in helping us incorporate the latest industry trends in efficiency, energy saving, and sustainability. Keeping in mind of global warming, we use ammonia as a natural refrigerant in our systems, as it has zero ozone depletion properties or greenhouse gases, significantly reducing plant CO2 emissions. Frick India has experienced teams of highly skilled and specially trained engineers and technicians available 24/7 on dedicated support to execute all types of industrial refrigeration and air conditioning work installed by us. Frick India offers maintenance, operation, skill development program and training with easily available spares as required for smooth functioning and efficiency of refrigeration systems. No wonder we count amongst our clients some of the biggest and most famous names in food processing and cold chain industry, in dairy and ice cream industry, in beverages and brewery industry, in poultry and meat industry, in fisheries and seafood industry, in chemical and pharmaceutical industry, along with every other field requiring industrial refrigeration. Because if you're looking for the best in industrial refrigeration, you still can't beat the system when it's all Frick India.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sudhir Kumar. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Madhuji.
Good afternoon, Dr. Manoj Singh. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Setia,
Good
our
afternoon.
Chairman for Logistic Committee. Welcome you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, Mr. Aditya Bagriji, our Chairman
Good
for
afternoon,
Food and
Madhupanna ji.
Agriculture.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Iqbal Ibad Hanif, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So just within 2 minutes, we will start.
Sure.
Yeah. Already 131 people have joined. So we are expecting many more.
हाँ ये सर वो एक वही है ना मैं बता रहा था ना 3
with the permission of both chairman, Mr. Bagri and Mr. Sethia, can we start the proceedings?
Sure. Yes, sure. Absolutely, Madhuparna ji.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Should I go ahead then, Madhuparna?
Just give me just 2 minutes to start the deliberations, and then I will call everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, I welcome you all to the India Food Logistic and Supply Chain Forum, which is being organized by Indian Chamber of Commerce and supported by Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. So we have a number of panelists with us, eminent panelists with us, who will be addressing this forum. We are very, very grateful to all these eminent panelists who have joined us already. Our special thanks to Dr. Manoj Singh, Executive Director, Traffic Transportation, Ministry of Railways, Government of India. We are thankful to Mr. P. Sudhir Kumar, Director, Marketing, Freak India Limited, for their support and for your presence. We have with us Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Vice President, Coalman Logistics Private Limited. We have with us Mr. Puneet Mehedritta, Vice President, Adani Group. He will be joining at around 3:30. He's busy in a meeting. We have with us Mr. Tara S. Ganguly, Chief Executive Officer, Tara International. Mr. Alok Bansal is with us, Director, Build My Infra. Madam Palak Asmani, Marketing and Product Manager, 13 Square Feet. We have with us Mr. Ibad Hanif, Head 3PL and Cloud Tracking, National Commodities Management Services Limited. And we have Mr. Aditya Bagri, Co-Chair, Agri and Food Processing Committee, Indian Chamber of Commerce, and also he's the Director, Bagri's India Limited. And we have Mr. Kanishka Sethia, Chairman, ICC Logistics Expert Committee and Director, Western Carriers India Limited. So to start with, I would request from Indian Chamber side, our Chairman, Co-Chairman for Agri-Food Processing, Mr. Bagri, and Mr. Kanishka Sethia to start the deliberations. I would request Mr. Aditya Bagri to start with your welcome remarks.
Thank you, Madhuparna ji. A very good afternoon to everyone, our guest speakers, all the participants to the Indian Logistics and Supply Chain Forum, perhaps one of the most pertinent forums run by the Indian Chamber of Commerce, when there are so many wonderful events that the chamber organizes. Due to the ongoing pandemic, we've had to do this event virtually. However, the forum has participation from across the country, and we have experts and speakers from various reputed institutions and organizations. I'd like to thank, first of all, on behalf of the ICC, all the panelists, Mr. Ibad Hamid from 3PL Cloud Trucking and NCML, Dr. Manoj Singh, Executive Director, Traffic Transportation, Ministry of Railways, Government of India, Mr. P. Sudhir Kumar, Director Marketing, Frick India, and Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Vice President, Goldman Logistics. Along with that, I'd also sincerely like to thank Mr. Puneet Mendriata, Vice President, Adani Group, who will be joining us shortly, Mr. Tara S. Ganguly, CEO of Tara International, Mr. Alok Bansal, representative from Buildman, from Ms. Palak Asnani, Marketing and Product Manager, 13 Square Foot, for joining us today. India is undergoing a structural transformation of food logistics and supply chain from rural to urban areas that is inspired by recent reforms and hastened by the COVID-19 pandemic. With the food system, the food logistics, and the supply chain as the most crucial to translate production gains.
Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah, I just got automatically muted. I think. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So, with logistics being the key of taking our farm produce to the consumer, it is the key connect between farm to fork and has the entire ecosystem of processors, wholesalers, truckers, and employs hundreds and hundreds of people across various geographies. Erstwhile, the state of affairs was an inverse link between production and income, and it has manifested the higher production, the lower the net income to the producers. Logistics linkages with appropriate supply chain systems can be used to break this anomaly by expanding the transaction radius for the farmers. The idea behind this is the larger picture of increasing farmers' income, which has been one of the key national agenda points for the chamber as well as for the government. The prime requisite is to build capacities to directly connect the farm produce with its terminal destination instead of undergoing wasteful multi-layer transactions and handling. There's been rapid transformation of food supply chains in India over the past 2 decades, especially with modern retail sales growing at a very fast pace, the advent of e-commerce, and the quick penetration of urban food markets as well as rural markets. The food processing sector is growing quickly, while also concentrating on the undergoing rapid increase in the capital output ratio, with little increase in employment. A modern segment is emerging in the wholesale sector with the penetration of modern logistics firms and specialized modern wholesalers. India's got a huge opportunity to become a leading global food supplier if only it has the right marketing strategies and, of course, agile, adaptive, and efficient supply chains. India has diversity in terms of population with several groups, different food habits, different cultures. The diversity should be used to take advantage of to become a part of the halal food hub, the organic food hub, the vegetarian food hub, the seafood hub, amongst various other global food subsegments that we can cater to. Cold chain logistics supply chains should also take advantage of technology improvements in data capturing and processing, product tracking and tracing, synchronized freight transport transit times for time compression, along with the supply chain and supply demand matching. Also, the supply chain needs to be designed and built as a whole and not in an integrated manner and not in parts, with the process of new product development, procurement, and order delivery processes designed to support the use of IT tools and software. So literally from product manufacturing, product conceptualization to delivery to the consumer for a seamless experience, it should be conceptualized together rather than in parts. The food supply chain is going through a period of great change, and it needs to be supported through new organizational forms manned by specialists. Training, coaching, and counseling, mentoring has to be extended to all parties in the supply chain. Awareness about cold chain management is the call of the hour to ensure that there is no breakdown in maintenance that requires temperature throughout the supply chain. In this way, a pool of skilled workforce with good knowledge of cold chain management to meet the needs of the industry to be cold chain will be generated. The same applies to other areas of the food supply chain, such as procurement as well as in retail. However, food supply chains are highly complex, and the network links millions of small players such as farmers, kirana shop owners, hawkers, industries, governments, and other organizations that affect the political and economic climate. It's important to recognize the complexity and the operational issues that it brings so forth. The analytical need is to build excellence in strategy and execute and mitigate these risks. Finally, in order to achieve an efficient supply chain model in India, we need to adopt a well-designed hub and spoke distribution network, and partly the taxation barriers between the states to which a lot of have been, I understand, streamlined thanks to the GST, but can be further reduced for efficient regional distribution. With this background, ICC strongly feels that the focus is view on agri supply and midstream activities. These will condition and influence the path of agriculture and food security in the coming decades. A well-developed roadmap needs to be implemented for initiatives in well-directed development efforts. India's food logistics and supply chain sector can promote entrepreneurship, ensure optimal value capture of value produced, and lead towards doubling farmers' income and carry our national brands globally. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome remarks. So now I would request Mr. Kanishka Sethia, who is the chairman, ICC Logistic Expert Committee and also Director Western Carriers. He is chairing the very active committee on ICC Logistic and Cold Chain. So now over to you, Mr. Sethia.
Thank you, Madhuparna. Thank you for that kind introduction. Thank you, Aditya. Your presentation was excellent. I think you've covered most of the points that I needed to talk to, so it makes my job easier. Just to add a few more points to what Adit was saying, just to give a historical background, actually. Excuse me. So in 1947, when our country became independent, India was a very large net importer of food. The situation was very grim. We had just gone through the Bengal famines of 1943, in which we lost more than 3 million of our fellow citizens. In the 60s, then came the Green Revolution, and to cut a long story short, we became food independent, such that now we are one of the largest producers of food grains on the planet in several categories and overall, including dairy and poultry, etc. So now today is not, we are not faced with an issue what we had, at the time of independence 75 years ago. But the problems are still quite large for us when it comes to food and logistics and supply chain of food. So what we have today is that according to UN Food and Agricultural Organization, even to this date, 189 million Indians are undernourished. There is widespread anemia and stunted growth in children. This is something which we all need to, as a society, work on reducing as fast as we can. A further report by Niti Aayog predicts that by 2032 we might not be able to meet our own food needs as our population and our consumption grows. So these are things which are multifaceted. But today we are going to look at one of the key factors, one of the key clogs in the wheel, that is logistics, and how we can, as an industry or as a service provider, reduce the incoming situation. So what happens is, once the crop is produced, there's further loss due to spillage and spoilage. For example, most of you must have seen, it's a very common sight to see grain harvesting drying on the side of the national highways everywhere in the country. It is estimated that only 15% of our fruits and vegetable produce gets into an efficient cold storage system, 15% only. Another problem that we have, we don't have efficient weighment cycles, we don't have efficient grading cycles. So these facilities, are present, but they are not present everywhere. They're not world-class. Another thing which is quite pertinent here is we are talking about, spillage and spoilage as the point of production. India is also a very large food waster. What I need to point out when I mean by food wastage is that we are a pre-consumer food wasting country, not a post-consumer food wasting country. So our wastage is happening before it reaches the consumer or at the end point. That is also something that we need to look at. So what are the things from a logistics perspective, that is going on, that we are working on, that we need to work on to ensure that, our food logistics gives the support the nation needs in reducing food wastage, as well as making our food available from farm all the way up to the fork. So 3 or 4 things which are key, which, I'm sure the presentations and the forum will go into today, and I'll just highlight it to keep it short, is that the first is we need to boost our storage facilities, especially in the rural areas and the semi-urban areas. We have ample amount of storage coming up in the metros and the tier 2 cities, but it needs to go down. We need to be more rural focused. We need to be more semi-urban focused. The more facilities we have state of the art, the more the produce we'll be able to save. We also need to concentrate similarly on crop wastage. A lot of crop gets wasted in the supply chain from the time it is produced. By the time it is ready to go to the customer, a lot of it is wasted by not having efficient supply chains, either in terms of first mile, last mile, storage. So, we need to work on reducing this cycle of waste. Another way to reduce, these wastage is to cut down on the various number of intermediaries that we have from the time it is produced all the way till the time it gets consumed. This will not only improve the profitability for the producers, but it will also reduce the cost to the last customer. One area in which the government should focus, and which is our request from ICC, is incentivizing first mile and last mile, logistics for food services. This is something, which requires a special focus. And this is something I think which will, its time has come now that we work as a nation towards this. And as we incentivize and we grow our first mile and last mile, logistics, creating the value added supply chain solutions around it, creating the 3PLs, the 4PLs, creating the public-private partnerships, working deeply with all the, stakeholders in this, be it the producers, the end consumers, the warehouses, the cold chains, the angadiwalas, the middlemen. We have to create a situation which becomes more efficient, which becomes more robust, which ensures that, as our fruit production goes up, with myriad government schemes, we are also attuned to creating a very, very befitting supply chain, which actually helps in this. And I think, the time has now come for lots of new people to come into this. My background has been in logistics. We do substantially large amounts of food transportation, especially in areas like tea and plantation businesses. I think the time has now come for creating these complex supply chains, in building these standards, which will actually be very good for the people who come in to do this business, but also very good for the industry and the nation as a whole. And we have to all work together in trying to create more efficient food logistics and supply chain, which I am sure as we go into the meeting today, we'll get lots of insight. So that's all from me. Welcome again to all of you delegates on behalf of ICC, and I hope we'll have a lot of learnings today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madhuparna.
Thank you, Mr. Sethia, and thanks for your very, very valuable recommendations and suggestions. We will take it up and we will incorporate in our recommendation paper after this today's discussion. Thank you, sir. So now we will go into the technical part, and also the other eminent speakers will speak. Now I would request Mr. Ibad Hanif to address and moderate the session. Before that, I would like to mention something about Mr. Ibad Hanif, who is heading 3PL and Cloud Trucking, National Commodities Management Services Limited. He has got more than 20 years accomplished experience in SCM, consulting, BD and operations, senior level expertise in setting up and administration of logistics business, thorough knowledge of agri, auto, chemicals, FMCG and tires in Southeast Asia, greenfield projects and warehouse hub conceptualization, built more than 40 centers in India, Middle East, Africa and Far East, voracious reader and thought-provoking speaker on supply chain. He has also have written a book titled The Jugaad of Indian Logistics. Over to you, Mr. Ibad Hanif.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. And I would sincerely thank, first of all, Mr. Sethia and Mr. Bagri for the fantastic thought process which they have already unveiled in this process. And I think bulk of the talking they have already done. So I would only concentrate on 2 or 3 stories. I'm a storyteller, and I'll continue my discussion by way of some stories here. Okay, my first story starts with the point that the kind of varieties, the kind of varied produce we have in the country, and that is something which is very, very reminiscent with this country only. You know, if you go to Australia, if there is a mango which is produced, a mango is a mango for them. But for us, mangoes have 80 different varieties, 100 different varieties, 500 different varieties. So if you ask me if I'm a Northi, I would like one particular kind of mango. If you belong to East India, you would want to have another kind of mango. Someone belongs to West India, wants to have another kind of mango. So that is the kind of varied logistics which we have to work on, so that these mangoes can reach to the respective places. But why get stuck only to mangoes? You know, you talk about rice, you talk about so many staples which are there, and the list is absolutely endless. You could actually take a view as to what you, if you are not there in your hometown, what do you miss about that hometown? And the list would be endless, I can assure you about that. I remember going down to a restaurant in New York, India Da Vinci, which was run by Ranbir Brar, and he served a kheer which was made out of black rice, which is there in Northeast. You know, me being a Northie, I never understood that there is a black rice which is available and it is coming from India. So imagine the logistics which has gone down in making that rice reach New York. It was absolutely crazy. Now, if we actually look at it, logistics, if we understand the whole essence of logistics, logistics is the single biggest employer of workforce and provides the kind of right opportunities to all the individuals across all the strata. And that is what logistics has been able to do. Now, we need to very clearly understand that our logistics are inside. We have the organized sector, we have the unorganized sector. So when we talk about jobs, we need to focus both on the organized sector, we need to focus on the unorganized sector. And I would request the Indian Chamber of Commerce, because there is a logistics policy which is now going to come up, that the unorganized sector needs to be given some importance in the logistics forum, because 92% of our logistics sector is unorganized. Mr. Sethia, you touched upon a point which was food wastage. I would suggest, you know, there is one point which I want to make very, very strongly here. And this is about the food wastage, which is a very big problem, which is causing the carbon effect and the greenhouse problem as well. And can you imagine, India is the second largest food wastage country in the entire world. We are only behind China. And the kind of values are staggering. On one side, we've got 189 million people who are malnourished, who don't have food. On the other side, we are the second largest country wasting food. in the same breath, I would like to bring to this notice that we have a success story which we can embark on. Here is an online logistics company which is delivering food, so as to say, came up with an IPO which was oversubscribed, Zomato. And this is a success story which I'm very proud of, that they have totally revolutionized the way the last mile is being taken off. You go to any nook and corner of the country today, we find a Zomato person there. So this is an extremely interesting foray which has been done in the recent times. We have so many AgTech companies coming all across the country who are giving consulting, who are talking about the forecasts, they are working on the focuses, they are looking at the revolutionary thought process which is going to come in the agricultural part. All this is happening, but at the same time, we need to very clearly understand Food Corporation of India is building up silos all across the country. We need to actually tie up with the railways to make sure that we don't waste even a single grain. And that should be something, as we say the national anthem, we should actually have another anthem that, one of the biggest gifts of God is food. And we shouldn't be wasting food at all, come what may. So if that is something which we can all vow for, I think life becomes a little bit easier. I just encompassed one or two stories here. And what I would request is Dr. Manoj Singh to join the panel and talk about his experiences. He belongs to the Indian Railway Traffic Services. He's worked in various divisions and headquarters in Southeastern Railway. And he's working as General Manager Operations and Business Development of Eastern Region, Concor and Kolkata. He had the opportunity to open many terminals and start new streams of business. He was the first CEO of the JV between Concor in Nepal to start ICD in Birganj. And he worked as Advisor Transport Planning Commissioner and later Niti Aayog and DRM Jabalpur. Presently, he's working as Executive Director, Traffic Transportation, looking after operations as part of the operations team in the Ministry of Railways. He was awarded General Manager's Award in Southeastern Railways, Scholarship for Leadership and Excellence, and Commonwealth Scholarship by the Government of UK, and pursuing PhD at University of Leeds. I welcome you, Dr. Manoj Singh, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There seems to be some echo effect. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, sir.
Okay. All right. So first of all, many thanks to the ICC for having me over this discussion. And my thanks to Madhupurna, to Mr. Kanish Sethia, Mr. Aditya Bagri, and Mr. Ibad Hanif, who spoke before me, for setting the tone for this discussion. I think some of the major points we've already covered in terms of, let us say, India becoming a food, from a food dependent to a food independent, and now a food exporter. India, just before this discussion, we just had a meeting with the non-Basmati Rice Exporters Association of India, who want to export something like 13-14 million tons of non-Basmati export through Kakinada port and other ports, and how the railways could help them in evacuating this kind of tonnage. So this shows that we have come a long way in agriculture. And the data, recent data, if you see, the production of food grains, for example, in the last year, 2021, for which some advanced estimates have already come, you'll find that we have produced something like 305 million tons of food grains last year, which is one of the highest, I think the highest which we have done till now. So, and apart from food grains, we have oil seeds, sugarcane, cotton, jute, etc. And anybody who saw the situation during pandemic would understand that that the Indian agriculture sector is a very robust sector of the economy, and other sectors got affected. They got impacted, the industrial output, services, and so on. But the one sector which kept the economy going, which kept the country going, was the food grains sector, the agriculture sector. Despite everything, the farmers, they were working in the field, production was there, the output was there. And we did not have starvation in this country. So a large, therefore, we have to always remember one thing, that the farmers in this country are really, we have to be thankful to them, all the people who are urban dwellers, etc. The entire country has to be really thankful to them, and especially during the pandemic, their contribution was immense. Now, what I would be concentrating upon in the next few minutes that I would be taking of your time would be, what is the role of railways in Indian food logistics and supply chain, and what are the major trends in this area, and how we can go ahead. So some of the important say points that I would like to mention, and first is that that a lot of food grain moves through railways, and one of the largest customers for Indian Railways is the Food Corporation of India. So they move. Last year, the total food grain that we moved on Indian Railways through our wagons was nearly 63 million tons. 63 million tons. 80% of this would be moved by FCI, Food Corporation of India, and remaining 20% would have been moved by the private sector. This 63 million tons was actually quite a quantum jump over the previous year. The previous year, that in 2019-20, we had moved 38 million tons. So from 38 million tons, we increased the movement by food grains to nearly 63 million tons. Now, the reason was that the government announced a scheme called the Prime Minister's Gramin Kalyan Ann Yojana, PMGKAY, as it is called. And the main theme of this scheme was that every beneficiary of the PDS, the public distribution system, he or she got 5 kilograms per person extra than what was the normal allotment or allocation. And this required movement on a large scale. And therefore, you saw that from 38 million tons, we moved to 63 million tons. This jump was given by railways. So this actually shows one thing which is very clear, that if there is a requirement for movement, then railways will come to the will provide the logistics for the transportation of food grains or the food sector. So all this is nearly a 70% growth. So wagons or capacity or such kind of things, those constraints are not there in this in this scenario. If there is a demand, we will meet the demand, and therefore, in fact, last year, what we have done is that we've taken this initiative of bringing the FCI and the private sector food grain transporters or traders, suppliers, all at the same parity in terms of wagon supply. So we called as the priority schedule for allotment of wagons. And both have been brought under the same schedule. Earlier, there was a differential, which means that if at a same goods shed, FCI put an indent, which is a requirement for a wagon, then they would get priority over a person, a non-FCI, non-sponsored or a private trader. So the FCI would get the wagon earlier, but that disparity has been removed with respect to the allotment of wagons since last year, and we have brought everybody, whoever is there in the food supply business, food chain business, at the same level, and all entities in this sector, they have been brought at the same level. So this is one thing that we did. And regarding the FCI movement, basically, as you are all aware, that from the food surplus states, the food moves, rice, wheat, primarily these two commodities, they move to the food, although in fact, most of the states are now becoming slowly, not if not surplus, then at least self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency is increasing in most of the areas as we move ahead in time. But mostly the transportation takes place from Punjab, Haryana, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, also some pockets, to West Bengal, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra, the whole of northeastern states. So this movement takes place pan-India, and our reach is that any remote area of the country also we can reach by railways. So we move this this logistics is fairly well distributed, and all the good sheds, there will be 700, 800 good sheds in the country, and all of them are connected with the food logistics. So that is one part of the story. The second part of the story that I would like to tell you is about an innovation, or you can say a new thing, which was called Kisan Rail, and some of you might have heard of this. So Kisan Rail services were started last year on the 7th of August 2020, so nearly a year before. And the first service was started from Devlali to Danapur. Essentially, what is Kisan Rail? Now, Kisan Rail and the FCI logistics are two aspects, or two different types of logistics. So FCI logistics, about which I explained to you just now, is a large scale logistics. In one train, something like 2,000 metric tons or 2,000 tons food grain moves. So that's a huge in one train. And as I said, that nearly 65 million tons moved of food grain moved like that. So that is one part of the logistics. But you're all aware that horticultural products, we do not have those volumes. So for the horticultural products, so which means fruits, vegetables, and also in fact fish, poultry, dairy products, etc. These kind of products. The product that was launched is called Kisan Rail. So Kisan Rail is kind of a faster service. It runs on parcel vans, and here the size, I mentioned to you that in FCI logistics, we cater to something like 2,000, 2,200 tons in one go. In one train, this quantity moves. But in Kisan Rail, around 200 tons to 450 tons can be transported. So this is a smaller lot size. Obviously, in horticulture products, vegetables, fruits, etc., we cannot get one train and then carry 2,000 tons. We will not get that kind of cargo. So therefore, a smaller product size or lot size was introduced, which is called the Kisan Rail, and in parcel vans we have started transporting. And so the other difference, or the other advantage, is that this is sort of a multi-commodity, multi-consigner, multi-consignee, multi-stoppage timetable train service. The Kisan Rail is that anybody can come and consign the material and give the material for transportation. It could be even as small as 2 kgs to 2 tons or 5 tons. So here we are trying to cater to even a small or a marginal farmer. If he wants to come and give 10 kgs of his product, of his vegetables or fruits, or 20 kg, 50 kg, 100 kg, or 5 tons, 10 tons, everything is welcome in the Kisan Rail. So therefore, this is much, you can say that the base for Kisan Rail is much bigger, and we have started moving this in a big way, and the kind of movements that we have done is quite good. And till 30th July, 1040, that is more than 1,040 Kisan Rail services have been operated on 72 routes. And the 100th Kisan Rail was flagged off by the Honorable Prime Minister on 28th of December 2020 between Sangola, that's in Maharashtra, to Shalimar, that's in West Bengal. And since then, as I told you, till 30th July, more than 1,000 Kisan Rail services have been run. So here, I would also like to inform you that this service of Kisan Rail is run in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, who give a subsidy on the freight. So this freight subsidy is given by the Ministry of Agriculture, and therefore that makes it further cheaper and more efficient in terms of cost for the farmers to send their perishable food items as I mentioned. And some of the fruits and vegetables which we have used, which have used the services of Kisan Rail are mango, banana, guava, kiwi, lychee, papaya, orange, etc. Vegetables, all kinds of vegetables, all kinds of fruits. I can see from the list that we have got here. We have moved through this service. So the two dimensions of the food logistics that we do on railways, I explained to you. One is the large scale, large full train movement, which we call FCI type of movement, and others also. And there also we have a product for also half a rake, which is 21 wagons, so up to 1,000 tons or so we can produce, or multi-point freight trains also we are running. And second is the Kisan Rail type of service. The third would be the containerized service. There also, I'm sure that people have experience of handling food grains in Concor, that is Container Corporation of India, their containers, as well as the other train operators who have domestic containers. So these are some of the ways in which we are trying to give the service in this sector. And regarding the silos, etc., which was mentioned by Mr. Hanif, yes, those are also coming up with the help on many Indian Railway stations, close to Indian Railway stations, and we will be partnering with FCI. And we are also committed to ensure that no wastage takes place. And yesterday, FCI told us that they call those locations, they are called as vulnerable locations. That is locations where FCI does not have warehouse, that is Pakka warehouse. And what they do is that because they have to procure so much of food grains in a short period of time during Kharif and Rabi, etc. So for that they make some temporary arrangements. So those locations are called vulnerable locations. And yesterday somebody from FCI came and thanked us. After all, it's a partnership between us and FCI, and they said that that we have removed all the food grains from the vulnerable locations which are prone to rain, damaged by rain, etc. So he said that we are thankful that the Indian Railways could give us wagons on a short period of time and organize all the transportation, etc. So that from all the food grains in Punjab, Haryana area, which were in vulnerable locations, we have been able to move. And that was our target. That was yesterday, the 4th of August. That was our target given by the FCI top management on the Ministry of Food top management. And they were very happy that we were able to together, FCI and railways together, were able to move the food grains from the vulnerable locations. So I think this is what I would like to tell you. And from the railway side, we would be very happy to understand from the various players in this segment, in the food production as well as food processing segment, as to how we can help them in having a fast, efficient, and cost-effective logistics for transportation of logistics, so that it reaches and we can serve the country. And in fact, as I mentioned, I started by saying that the export also, in fact, now we've become an exporter, food grain exporter, and we are also helping in that way. And we will continue, Indian Railways will continue to serve the country, this sector, and the agriculture sector. So with these words, I would like to once again thank you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to tell you about this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. I think this was a fantastic session and some fantastic insights. Just to update you, we as NCML have a network of approximately 36 silos, which we are constructing. And this would be operational by the end of the year. And all these silos are going to be with a railway siding. We just started Mohana in Haryana very shortly, and the Indian Railways was kind enough to grant us rail access. And we've just started, 3 months back in Mohana. So this is very near to Sonipat. This is in a place called Gohana, where the jalebi is very famous. So that is the place, and interesting inlays. And I think Kisan Rail is a fantastic service. If you wouldn't mind, there is a question which is hanging there, that is Kisan Rail available in Dimapur, Nagaland?
Kisan Rail, yeah, see, we are open to having it from any part of the country. We'll be very happy to serve people from the north frontier, the northeast states. So definitely. So if we can have the details that, what is required to be sent out from there, how much, when, etc., those kind of details, then certainly we can give a service there, and we will plan out and we can do it. So we are on a pan-India basis wherever there is demand. You see, some services are on timetable, fixed point to fixed point, because there the cargo base is very large. For example, Maharashtra, onion, then so many fruits, vegetables, etc. But from Dimapur side, if there is a service that is required, say once in 10 days or once in a week, or those kind of services can also be organized. So I would request that either this request this demand can be given to us in the Ministry of Railways, or the North Frontier Railway at Guwahati, Malegaon. They can be approached. So either way, we can work out, and we'll try to extend the services in different parts of the country. In fact, we would like to prioritize where the unserved areas. So like these areas, we would certainly like to help out there.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. And I think Vipuni, this was a question. Dr. Manoj has very ably answered that question to you. So you could mention in the chat box whatever, if there is anything further which you want to ask. Thank you, Dr. Manoj. Yeah.
There is another question also. Is there any dedicated booking counter for the farmers to claim the freight subsidy? So I would request everybody to go through the chat box and Q&A and just give your valuable answer over there.
Okay.
Over to you, Mr. Hani.
Thank you so much. Noted. So from here on, we move to our next panelist, and this is Mr. P. Sudhir Kumar. He's a BE Mechanical from VLB Institution, Coimbatore. He's a MTech in Thermal Engineering from IIT Delhi, and he's a Director Marketing in Frick India, one of the leading equipment manufacturing company and turnkey solution provider for all industrial refrigeration applications in dairies, cold storages, fish meat, chicken freezing plant, chilling plants, BOG, and special application projects. He has an experience of more than 30 years in the field of industrial refrigeration and air conditioning. He has worked in various capacities in the organizations at Delhi, Chennai, and Mumbai. He's the past president and founder member of Association of Ammonia Refrigeration. He's a regular member for BAR, NHB, and CII on Energy Efficient and Refrigeration System. He's also a member of the CII Southern Region Agriculture and Food Processing Committee. I thank you, Mr. Sudhir Kumar, and I would invite you to present your insight on this to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Just a second, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Mr. Hanif, if I may be permitted, I'll be leaving at around 4:15 from this because I have got some other engagements. So if that is okay, I would like.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. No problems at all. Sure, sir.
Otherwise,
All the best.
I'll be listening to the proceedings. And if there is any question, etc., till 4:15, I am available. After that, I will have to leave. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mr. Sudhir. Sorry.
Thank you. No problem. Good afternoon to all. Thank you, Mr. Hanif, for the wonderful introduction of myself. So, as you rightly said, 30 years in this field, and I've been attending a lot of seminars. So I have a small presentation, about 10 minutes, which I would like to share.
Sir, should we run it for you?
No, I'm not.
Yes. Sir, you need to just make it a full screen slideshow. Not there, sir. Slideshow.
Actually,
Sir, let me run it for you. I have your PPT.
okay. No, because I've changed a little bit of it. That's why I just thought.
Okay, okay.
Just 1 minute. Ashish,
Okay.
1 minute. Just sorry for the.
No problem, sir.
इसको कैसे छोटा करना है? मेरे को स्लाइड शो दिखाना है, ये छोटा कैसे करें? ये तो छोटा हो जाता है, ये हटाना है. Just 1 minute. Sorry for the trouble. इसको छोटा कैसे करना है? मेरा इसको स्लाइड शो दिखाना है.
Sir, F5. You can press F5.
F5.
Straight away F5.
Or you can go to slideshow on top.
No, actually,
slideshow.
what has happened is this presentation, your thing is just come on top, and I'm unable to see the slideshow.
Okay, okay.
That the screen, now it's come. Thank you. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you, ICC. Thank you, Mr. Setia. Thank you, Mr. Aditya Bagri, and thank you, Madhuparnaji and Sanjay also. And also my fellow panelist, Dr. Manoj Singh gave a wonderful presentation on the logistics part, and the Kisan Rail concept was a really good concept, which will definitely help the farmers in transporting and avoiding the food wastage. So I will quickly run through my presentation. My topic today is building a robust cold chain system for food industry. As Mr. Setia and Mr. Bagri said, that a lot of food is wasted in the initial stages, in the pre-harvest, harvesting and packing and grading and taking it to the end user. So our main focus should be on avoiding the wastages. So what is the cold chain? The cold chain is basically a term which is used for a link from farm to fork or consumer, like a material which is like a harvested, a fruit or a vegetable, reaches the consumer in the same quality in which the farmer is harvesting it. To maintain that, we have to maintain a cold chain, which is cold chain maintains the temperature and RH of the product, and it minimizes the losses. And if you maintain at the right temperature and humidity, it maintains the crispness, freshness, taste, appearance, and nutritive values. So the benefits of a cold chain is it minimizes the post-harvest spoilage and pre-harvest, after the harvest, post-harvest spoilage, and also extends the shelf life of the fruits. Like you can eat an apple by keeping it in a cold storage after 6 months without even, we find a lot of apples are getting imported, coming in reefer containers. So the cold chain is instrumental in keeping your products fresh. And now the latest, the corona vaccines, the Sputnik vaccines, which are coming from Russia, your potency of vaccines are maintained, not only for corona, for any vaccine, which needs to be temperature controlled. So you need to maintain a cold chain. Similarly, for other frozen items like ice cream, meat products, and poultry products. This is a small cycle which shows you that from the farmer, the product is sorted, graded, and pre-cooled. As Mr. Setia said, that the rural and semi-urban areas needs these kind of cold storages. The product, if it is pre-cooled within the first 6 hours to 10 hours, then the shelf life of the product is extended. So from the farm level, it goes to a small processing centers where they are sorted, graded, ripened, chilled, etc. Then taken to a multi-purpose large cold storages through logistics, through reefer transports, which is a lagging in India. Most of us send our fruits and vegetables in the normal transportation, but it will be better if we send it through reefer transport, and then it goes to the retail stores and to the consumers. So this is a complete cold chain link, which has to be maintained for the product not to get wasted. Even a breakage in any of this chain gives a substantial wastage of the product. So as I explained to you, this is the cold chain is made up of. This is the farm level management. See, the sorting has to be done. Like if you have a what you call a bad fruit mixed with a 1 kg of a good fruit, it will spoil the other fruits also. So sorting becomes important part, sorting and grading. Once you do that, then you can take it to a mobile pre-cooler or in a pre-cooling vans, you can cool it so that the characteristics are maintained. Then it comes to the processing center where you can do various kinds of applications. You can freeze the product, you can pack it, ripen it, cook it, make it into a juice or a concentrate, and then transport it to a larger cold storage. This is one of the major things which has come up in the recent times. You find bananas yellow in color because they are transported in cold chain and kept in a ripening chambers. And then you will find it, then the next 2 days, it turns yellowish. So this is part of the cold chain because they maintain the cold chain. So you're able to see the bananas quality improved over the period of time. And the cold chain should need an ante-room. This is the distribution center or the large cold storage where the products are neatly packed and palletized and kept in the cold store. And this racking system is one of the important parts of modern day logistics. How you stack your product, how you take out your product, and how you pack your product. That also helps in avoiding the wastages. The modern racking gives you easy movement, better air distribution, etc. There's a pallet tracking system where you can have the processed food like frozen ice creams, butter, etc. stored here. And then the reefer transport, as all of you know, reefer transport is also important in the logistics of cold chain, where the temperature has to be maintained. We have a lot of automation facilities where you can monitor the temperature of the product which is available inside the truck. Benefits of multi-purpose cold storage is round-the-year operation, and also it can keep all kinds of products, right from -20 to +6, or even you can keep some spices also into it. And the other concept is a mega food park, which government is actively participating and asking. Every state has got 1 or 2 mega food parks where you have designated cold storage facilities where farmers can use that, food processing facilities. And also there are a lot of juice units and other multi-purpose cold storage also, with a common facility which other farmers and other vendors can use it. This is a typical layout of mega food park. I will not go into the details of it, but just to give you an idea how a cold storage looks, you have a hydro cooler, or you can have a what you call controlled atmosphere cold storage, frozen storage, etc. into a mega food park. And as all of us know that global warming and climate change is playing an important part, we as a citizen should promote natural refrigerants, not promote man-made refrigerants, which out of which natural refrigerants, ammonia is one of the best refrigerants available. As you all know, as I was talking about this global warming, all the man-made refrigerants are contributing to the carbon footprint, and we should change over to CO2, propane, butane, these kind of natural refrigerants. Of course, it's got some disadvantages like high toxicity, etc. But we are using even LPG in our homes and even CNG in our cars. So a proper precaution can help you in doing this properly. And these are some properties. I will not go into the details of this, but you will find that ammonia, CO2 are all having lesser global warming potential as compared to the commonly available refrigerants. And CO2 is also one of the natural refrigerants which can be used now, which is being used in Europe and other countries. Some of the equipments which are used nowadays are screw compressor for energy efficient applications and various kinds of air cooling units, etc. And some of the heat exchangers. And automation plays one of an important factor nowadays with all these cloud computing and all. You can see the temperature inside the cold storage sitting across in your office room, or the end user can see the temperature sitting in Delhi or anywhere, and so that he is connected through the cloud computing or remote control, where you can see what is the happening in your plant and what is the temperature maintained in the cold storage. So thank you. In case of any questions, you can contact me on the email or in the chat box. I'll be obliged to answer your questions. Thank you once again, ICC.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this was a pretty technical presentation. And I think people who didn't have insight as to what goes into the components, I think very ably explained. I think we could have talked a little bit on the CA, the controlled atmosphere, which plays such an important part. Apples we find from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we find apples, and this is all simply because of the cold storage. Otherwise, there was no way we could have apples available all across the length and breadth of the country. And so is the case with potatoes also. So I think unknowingly or knowingly, we have been using cold chain, but we have been very, very reluctantly saying that we really don't know the importance of the cold chain. It's been there in our system, but we have not been educated that this is the way cold chain is contributing to our lives. I think very, very insightful, Mr. Sudhir, and thank you so very much for this insight. I would now request Sanjay Sharma, who's in accomplished leader with a career spanning over 2 decades in logistics and cold chain, and he's presently working as a vice president sales and distribution for Coleman, and he has been handling various new and innovative project development in the field of cold chain over the last decade, and he has been credited with various new initiatives in offering customized solutions to customers. I sincerely thank you, Mr. Sharma, for joining in, and I request you to kindly join the panel and share your insights with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ibad, and very good afternoon to my member panelists also, and all the audience who are listening to us directly now. So I'll be touching upon, so I think most of the points broadly are being covered by the other, panelists who have come just before me. But I will again try to, highlight some of the very important issues where the cold chain would play a larger role, and cold chain is playing a larger role. So I'll just open up my presentation and take. I think you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah, it's full screen visible.
It is now, yes.
Okay. So I'll just go to the couple of points. See, we had been discussing earlier also on the quantity, the food wastage that is happening across. So all this data, most of us have seen it in the earlier presentations. But what is critical here for us to understand is, while there is a large quantum of the food which is being wasted, an important aspect to highlight here is, at the household level, 61% of the total wastage that happens is at the household level. I mean, which is again a fact which we need to, realize. The people, the consumers who are doing it, they need to be educated, they need to be counseled in terms of the food. Though traditionally in our country, we all are quite, used to, that we should not be wasting the food, but still, despite all this fact, globally, this is the data available. A large part is being, wasted at the household level. However, the corporate or the companies like us who are into the logistics business can definitely play a role with respect to, arresting the food wastages on to the food services and the retail outlets. So this is some of the data I think earlier also we have touched upon. So in terms of per capita, if we see, we are pretty low with respect to all the other countries globally. But in terms of the quantum, because of the quantum of the, the size of the population that we have in the country, we still rate, Mr. Ibad that touched upon this, we are the second largest after China, and just see the numbers, enormous, tons of being food wasted. So we, at the Coleman, we are just trying to, while we are not into the typical commodity of the grains, etc., we are trying to, arrest some of the problems out of this, doing our bit in terms of the perishable. So we are mainly into the cold chain business. So with respect to the perishable food products, we are trying to create a lot of infrastructure. But important here, again, I would like to just highlight on the, so much of wastage that is being happening, while a lot is being discussed with respect to the, supply chain for the food. Two important points. See, with so much of wastage happening as on date also, there are two basic important learnings that we need to see. Number one, either what we are doing presently in terms of the food logistics or food supply chain, either it is not adequate, the infrastructure is not adequate, or else the second option that I possibly see is that we are not doing it the right way. So possibly the infrastructure is available to some extent, but we are not doing it the right way. So classic example, if we see today, when you go to the market and you try to buy an imported fruit or vegetable, be it your kiwis or the imported Washington apple, the quality and the freshness that you see for those kind of apple vis-a-vis what we get domestically from our own states like Himachal or Jammu and Kashmir, probably it is not of the same quality. So which means somewhere we are not doing the things the right way, though there has been a tremendous improvement with respect to the food logistics and the cold chain in last 1 decade in our country. But still there are huge gaps that needs to be addressed at all levels, at the private participants, at the private logistics company, even at the government and the various, organizations who are involved into saving and trying to, benefit the farmers. So if you see here, this is the 2 points that we see. On an annual basis, globally, 121 kgs of the food is being wasted. Food services as such, which of course for household, there is only one alternate that we have as a private players, is we can just educate and counsel. More NGOs should come up and try to educate people the importance of, huge gap between some of the people dying because of the hunger and some of the people, wasting the food at a kitchen level also. So food and retail is something where, of course, companies like us had been taking initiatives. The government organizations are taking initiatives. Government bodies are trying to, arrest this problem by trying to encourage the industries to come up in the food processing sector by providing the subsidies and all this. So that's also a good encouragement for a lot of players to come in and try to arrest this issue of food wastages. So again, earlier, I think maybe one of the panelists touched upon this thing, that while the cold chain infrastructure is in existence a decade before what it was vis-a-vis what it is presently available, it has improved a lot. But I think the concentration of the cold chain infrastructure is still very, very pertinent to the tier 1 cities. So tier 2, tier 3, or at the farm gate level, we still have huge gaps. Especially I see it at the farm gate level, because that's the first step towards arresting the quality of the products or the produce that we have, especially in the perishable. So even what I highlighted a bit earlier was, if I get from my own domestic states, fruits and vegetables, they are not having that kind of a shelf life what I get from the abroad, which means right from the beginning they are doing the things the right way, while we are lacking with respect to arresting the deterioration of the quality at the first step itself. So post the harvest, there is no pre-cooling rooms or that kind of infrastructure is not available. So I think encouraging to set up the pre-cooling rooms in the farm level will definitely arrest a lot of quality issues that we face when the consumer receives the material in the market. A typical food supply chain, I think Mr. Sudhir also touched upon this. So from the raw material to the processing, then packaging. I think these 2 points, what we are facing an issue is with respect to the packaging and the processing units. I'll be touching upon in the subsequent slides the importance of processing. So we are now, again, if you see warehousing and distribution across the country today, Coldman has about close to 70,000 tons of storage available, from anything from -25 to +25, including some of the humidity controlled chambers as well. And then how it moves, and EXIM is again one of the important aspect, wherein I think bodies like ICC or the other bodies like CII and the government should get involved in terms of encouraging a lot of exports, because the domestic consumption will also have a limitation irrespective of whatever we do. So this is a typical cold chain that we see today, without the cold chain being present. So challenging is again, the harvesting period is pretty short, and then we transport it through the normal trucks. Today also large quantum of fruits and vegetables are being transported, stored on a normal trucks. So when you put it onto the normal warehouse, your shelf life is not more than 3 to 4 days. And if you are not able to reach on time, especially from south, if you are carrying something like, maybe from Maharashtra to Jammu and Kashmir, onions or any other commodity, you will not be able to hold the quantity if we are transporting it through the normal trucks. So a typical cold chain would work something like this, wherein you try to create post the harvesting or immediately post the production at the farm gate level, we try to arrest the deterioration of the quality. The moment you put it straight into the pre-cooling rooms, there are a lot of new companies who have come in with respect to setting up portable, solar-based pre-cooling rooms at the farm gate level. It's not very, very capital intensive. I think most of the farmers today can definitely afford, because in turn, the kind of returns it is going to give with respect to improvising the quality of the products and giving a value for them. I think they would definitely get a larger premium as compared to the investment that are being done into these pre-cooling rooms. So from here, then we take it through the refrigerated trucks, or probably if we take it, if it's a shorter route, we can take it through normal trucks. But since the pre-cooling is arrested, the bacteria and the quality is already being controlled, we can afford a lead time of 6 to 8 hours in a normal truck and send it to the cold storage at a city level. Again, try to bring it into the same environment in temperature control, and then finally consume it to at the farm gate, at the consumption level, we can definitely try to arrest the quality. So what is that we do at Coldman? I'll just try to run through in next 2-3 minutes. So we have warehouses across the country. This is a typical layout of our warehouse in Bangalore. So we are trying to put a lot of focus with respect to the quality, which is sustainable over a period of time. We are trying to see. There is some issue happening, is it? At my end, Madhupurna? Hello? Yeah, sorry. So we have 6 temperature zones, as I said, from -25 to +25. So we have 6 various temperature zones. All our warehouses are BRC certified, which is the highest quality standard globally available for food safety also. We insist a lot with respect to the traceability of the product. One of the initiative which I have not highlighted, it's still in a pilot project, is we are now getting into the online fruit and vegetable trading. So a pilot project in Pune we started in Maharashtra, wherein we are trying to direct connect farmers with the consumer. So there is an online app wherein you can order fruits and vegetable, and we deliver the very next day. So until 11 p.m. in the night, you book it, and next day morning by 9 o'clock, you get your products. And this is again one of the initiatives we are trying to take across, so that the farmers are being benefited. This was started about a year back when the severe lockdown had made the farmers vulnerable with respect to the distribution, because transportation was limited. They were not able to reach the markets. That's where we started with respect to our initiative, so that at least the farmers, they are getting benefited, their produce is being reaching to the markets. Then similarly, distribution services, we have a complete traceability. Each vehicle has a GPS wherein you remotely we monitor the temperature, so that the temperature integrity is maintained all throughout the food supply chain. This is the spread of the various warehouses we have. So almost all now on a pan-India, by end of this financial year, we'll have a fairly, it's a large warehouse in extreme northeast in Guwahati. We have a warehouse wherein we have about 7,500 tons of raw produce which can be stored, including some of the processing facilities nearby. So cleaning, packing, sorting, everything can be done in the same facility, and we can store anything from -25 to +25. We are doing something for the ginger produce, which is happening in Guwahati, and that's something which we are continuously striving to achieve. These are some of the customers. Of course, this is post the harvest. The next point that I am trying to just put across here is whether the cold chain standalone. There is a lot of discussions happening at various forums that it is because of the lack of the cold chain, a lot of fruits and vegetables are being wasted. But I think to larger extent that may not stand, valid reason, because cold chain, while it can definitely help in terms of improving the ratio of the food wastages, it can reduce the food wastages, but standalone cold chain alone will not be able to arrest the problem of the food wastage. Primarily because of the reason, if you see most of the this screen on the right that you see, all the commodities that we see, whether it is apricots or apples, very few have this kind of a tendency of a longer shelf life. Like apples, most likely without cold storage will survive for 1 month. Some of the other I missed there. With cold storages, apple will have a shelf life of about 1 year or so. Similarly, if you see all other product categories, you will find, and today whether it is green peas processing or sweet corn, we have been able to arrest a lot of food losses in that particular commodity. But most of the commodities may not have a larger shelf life despite giving a good cold storage facilities also. So what I am trying to highlight here is the importance of converting, processing it into something like, for most of the fruits and fruits like oranges, you convert it into juice or pulp, and then the shelf life increases to 1 year. So then we are storing a large quantity of fruit pulp and fruit mango dices in all our warehouses, which are then being exported. So we need to insist and focus more with respect to processing the raw produce, keeping it into a state wherein you can increase the shelf life by almost all 6 to 8 months. So that's something which is lacking as per my personal observation. Raw produce, whatever we do with respect to cold chain or efficient distribution services, we may not be able to save wastages to larger extent. But yes, if we are converting it into cut vegetables, trying to increase the awareness with the consumer that these cut vegetables also are equal good source of nutrients, and if produced at a good quality processing center, it will not have any adverse effects as compared to the fresh produce. So this is something which I think is lacking. Once we focus on this, government has last year extended some kind of a subsidies to the processings also, and we have been able to I think that will be leading the way in terms of arresting the food wastages in the future. And this is some of the innovations that have happened not by us. Some of the OEM suppliers, solar based pre-cooling rooms, is we have also tried to install it in our processing center in Pune, where the Coldman Fresh initiative is being taken care. So right at the farm gate itself, we try to pre-cool and then bring it to the processing center or the packing center. Real-time traceability today, we are using the apps. Various apps are available wherein you can track the temperature, you can track the source of the farm that is being coming in. So all this is also some of the platforms which are helping in terms of giving a good return to the farmers. Now we have some online platforms also wherein the farmer can just register and try to get a value for his money. This is some of the initiatives that we should be taking it. Solutions to control, convert bio-waste into compost. So a lot of potato peel. Now even the potato, we are one of the larger, if not the largest. We are the largest exporters of the French fries also. So in Gujarat, a lot of initiative is being taken with respect to setting up good processing units, French fries, and you convert it into various other ready-to-consume products like aloo tikki or something, wherein you are trying to increase the shelf life of the potato and trying to bring in new modules, in terms of the consumption patterns also. So even the potato peel is today being, utilized. So that kind of initiatives in other fruits and vegetables, if we take, I think that is also going to help with respect to, reducing the overall quantum of the food wastages that we have. This I already touched upon, ready to consume products. So again, the last point, probably before I conclude, is the federations and the government bodies, I think, will have to create a huge market with respect to the exports, because whatever we do and whatever we consume in terms of the surplus, certain good quality produce can be exported to various countries, especially may not hold good for fruits and vegetable, but yes, for the marine catch, for your aqua catch, aqua farming is being encouraged. So a lot of exports are also happening at this point in time. We will have to look at from the poultry perspective, which again is, a lot of farmers who are having their own farmhouses with respect to poultry, they can be benefited. A classic example, if we see today, 7-8 years back, probably to my knowledge, we didn't heard of, fruit called dragon fruit or kiwi or even your Washington apple. The government bodies in these countries, they created an atmosphere within the country also. In India, they have created an atmosphere wherein they try to highlight through direct articles, magazines, the benefits of, eating kiwi. It could be vitamin rich. Even the other products also, they have created some kind of an awareness within the domestic people. And even a country like India, who is, not that way a very, very premium market for this product to sell, but is today consuming a large quantities of kiwis or dragon fruit. I think this is somewhere the government bodies can play a larger role with respect to certain produce of ours going across the country, especially even the potato-based products, wherein we are quite large surplus produce we have. I think that's all from my side. We are trying, I would like to just summarize and conclude is, we are trying to, play our role with respect to arresting and trying to create awareness in the market. But it is going to take a couple of more years before we reduce this wastage at all levels. And that's the whole philosophy that is driving Coldman. With the kind of expansion programs today we have, we hope to reach even the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We are already there in a couple of tier 2 cities in Maharashtra, but we would be reaching in other states also. Thank you so much, and over to you, Mr. Ibad.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. This was really interesting, and I think kudos to the kind of work which you guys are doing. One observation, and this is a recommendation which I would like to give to the ICC, is that what we understand, and since we do a lot of work in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, is the cost of the cold storages needs to be rationalized. I think when we have the logistics policy coming in, if instead of the subsidies, if we have some cost rationalization, wherein established players are not at a disadvantage with the gray market, I think it would make a lot of sense. And if we could pass down the cost benefit to the last strata, I think it would make life so much easier. And why only talk about Washington apples or kiwi? There are so many ingredients. I was going through the ICC website, and they were talking about Bhoot Jolakia. I don't know how many of us actually know Bhoot Jolakia. When I was speaking with Sanjay, or we've got so many bongs here. Hilsa is something which is very common to all our Bengali friends. And is it available in India? Available all across India? It is not. So if there is proper logistics which is available, I think life becomes so much easier. And there is so many ingredients which are available all across the country. I think we need to work on that. Thank you, Sanjay ji. This was really very, very informative. Moving on to our next panelist, Mr. Puneet Mendiratta, and he's a BTech Agri-Engineering from Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana. He's done PG in Business Management from XLRI, Jamshedpur. His experience is in excess of 34 years, and he's currently working with the Adani Group as Vice President Ops. And Adani is, a subsidiary of the Adani Ports and SEZ, which is the leading infrastructure-focused organization. It has built a state-of-the-art infrastructure, including grain silos, rail terminals, bulk rakes, and handling over 1 million ton food grain, thus providing complete supply chain solutions to FCI and government of Madhya Pradesh, right from procurement, from farmers till the distribution, and even through the PDS. The company is currently operating out of 15 silos across 7 states in the country, besides 5 terminals which are under the construction of for FCI. So I hereby welcome Mr. Puneet Mendiratta to kindly join and share his thoughts with us. Over to you, Mr. Puneet Mendiratta.
Thank you, Mr. Hanif. Thank you, ICC, for inviting me to share my views on my topic, that is bulk supply chain of food grains. As we all know that India is the second largest producer of food grains. At the same time, we are one of the biggest waster of food also. A lot of emphasis given on the production every year. We are up from 205 million tons to today over 300 million tons. Meticulous job done by the farmers. Production is increasing. Of course, demand is also increasing year by year. But one area which has been lacking or been not given due share is storage, preservation, and logistics. We know that there's a problem of plenty, because India produces so much of grain. Even if we are wasting 3-4%, doesn't matter at all. But over a period of, say, 10 years or 20 years from now, when the population will grow, obviously this is an area of concern. Government is definitely concerned about this. They are doing their bit by modernizing their storage infrastructure across the country, by improving the logistics chain, Dr. Manoj Singh shared his views on the Kisan Rail and all. Of course, Railway is doing wonderful job in ensuring seamless supply of food grain throughout the India, particularly during the pandemic times, by distributing free of cost food grain to the poorer section. So as a private companies, in fact, after 2005, government has encouraged the participation of private players into this field, which was earlier traditionally it was all orthodox and very much labor oriented. So I'll share a small presentation on our efforts, on Adani Group's efforts in this food grain storage sector, wherein we create grain silos on a PPP mode. We create the infrastructure and we create the railway infrastructure as well. And in our project, we have introduced bulk rakes also to transport the material from producing area to consuming area. Thus, we supply end-to-end solution to the Food Corporation of India. So just bear me for a moment. I will share my presentation. I hope this is visible to all.
As of now, no.
No.
Status quo. Yeah, now, yes, it is there. Yes.
All right. So
Can't see your screen. Yes, we can see it now.
So traditionally, as we all know, mandi system is there. The farmer produces food grain and harvests is in loose form, brings it to the nearest mandi, where he hands over his produce to the middleman. He makes it mercantile by cleaning it, by handling it, by weighing it, by putting it in bags. Then those bags are stacked in the mandi. Then those stacks are moved by truck to the nearest warehouse of the government or procuring agency. So all this handling, multiple handling leads to a lot of losses. So as per estimates, there are 6 to 8% of post-harvest losses. So bulk food grain supply chain, this initiative was taken by Government of India way back in 2000 under National Policy on Bulk Handling, Storage and Transportation. Under that policy, government invited private participation in this sector by inviting global bids. So we, Adani Agri Logistics, we were the first mover in this direction, and we are the pioneers. And we set up a pilot project in this under this policy, which had an investment of close to 700 crores. We set up 7 grain terminals across India, varying from Punjab, Haryana, then Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and West Bengal. So this way, we try to connect producing area with the consuming states. Special feature was transportation in bulk. We used to procure directly from farmers. Farmer comes to the silo unit, because that silo unit is declared as a mandi yard by the state government. So he comes directly. He can come with middleman, without middleman. That is his discretion. So we handle his food grain in a very automated fashion. I'll show you in the subsequent slides. Then he's free within 1 hour from the premises. He comes within one hour. Our service time is 1 hour. So it's a big saving for him. Apart from the tangible saving of rupees 140 rupees per ton, that he saves on cleaning and handling of his cargo, which otherwise he has to pay in the traditional mandi. So if this is a big saving to farmer, besides saving in time. Then what government saves? Basically, it's automated mandi. So it eliminates labor. It eliminates transportation from the mandi to the warehouse and warehouse to the railway station. So 2 transportations government is saving. Most important saving is gunny bag, very expensive gunny bag, and it's always short in supply because of various issues. Jute bag is not available every year. So they save on gunny bag, they save on transportation, they save on labor. All put together, whatever they pay to the concessionaire who is serving them, they get that amount offset with the kind of savings they have. So it's a sort of win-win for the government, for the farmer, for the operator, silo operator. On top of it, the most important saving is losses. If we are able to save 3% of losses conservatively, it's a humongous figure, which otherwise it's evident that it's in the system already. And the nutritional content is maintained. We have seen a crop of four long years. It's as good as a fresh crop. So this is also a big saving to the government, that the food grain shelf life is improved. So they can think of creating strategic reserves for calamities like recently we have seen. So overall, this model has been accepted by the government of India, and they have accepted that this is the future India really needs. This is the typical supply chain model. As I explained, we procure from farmers. He brings in trolleys, his own trolley. It is stored in high-tech grain silos. Then further, it is moved to the consuming area for the public distribution system. Typical concession with the government is from 20 to 30 years. Nowadays, it is 30 years. So this is basically to enable that investor to recover his capital cost, which he has invested in for over a period of 30 years. And in the entire system, we create silos, we create high-tech preservation systems, real-time monitoring, and rail infrastructure club with the grain silos. This is our growth as well as industry growth, in fact. Currently, we are having 1.175 million tons of storage with us, and total market size is about 3.5 million tons. So currently we are having 34% of market share in this area, and we are operating at 15 operational units. Besides that, we are under construction 5 more units. So this is the presence across 9 states currently we have, and our other peer companies, they also have pan-India presence in about total 19 states. This is the distribution model. Farmer comes to the base depot. Base depot is mandi, basically automated mandi. From there, it moves to the field depots, that is consuming states. From there, it directly goes into the PDS system or open market sale whenever government opens that OMS scheme. So as I explained, all the silos have the feature of real-time monitoring of all the temperatures, humidity, moisture content. So all the tools are available to ensure that food grain remains farm fresh for a longer period. This is the scene actually during the typical procurement season in April, May, and June in Punjab and Haryana. This is the way farmer comes to the silo unit, brings his produce in bulk, and that is handled in, first of all, this sampling is done, quality check is done. It is all robotic and mechanized, absolutely untouched by operator, to ensure complete transparency in the system. Farmer analyzes his produce, his quality check in front of him, and his cargo is checked for the 11 parameters given by the Government of India. If the cargo is within the specifications, it is accepted. Otherwise, he is asked to upgrade it and bring it again. So this is the way movement happens. These are the special bulk food grain wagons. These are top loading, bottom discharge wagons. And each wagon is having 60 tons capacity, and there are total 50 wagons in one rake. So one rake cargo contains 3,000 tons of food grain. And main feature of these wagons is that these wagons are totally pilfer proof. We are operating these wagons for the last 15 years now, 14 years, and we have never had any instance of pilferage on the way. It's zero pilferage. Why? Because they are totally sealed. Nobody can open it because you need special equipment to open it. And on the top, loading is done very, very fast. Its loading capacity is 1,400 tons per hour. So you can imagine a cargo of 3,000 tons take not more than 3 hours to load, whereas in the traditional system, typical BCN wagon, which is bagged cargo wagon, that takes 9 to 12 hours, even more, to load, and it involves 200 labor and 400 trucks to load one cargo of 2,500 tons. In comparison to that, these bulk rakes can be loaded pretty fast within 3 hours without any labor involved, and secondly, without any transportation involved. So these wagons are, in fact, these are part of the grain silos. And the concept is totally taken from developed countries like US and Canada. All the warehouses at the end point where the material is supposed to go to the PDS, they all are mechanized so that dependence upon labor is minimized, because day by day labor is getting scarce in all the states because of the developed economies. So this is the whole objective, to put mechanized warehouses. This is the sector scenario. In fact, as I told you, current market size is 3.5 million tons, and Government of India has the plans to scale it up in 2 phases. First, up to 13 million tons, then additional 7 million tons in the next 2 to 5 years. So short term, 10 million tons, 10 to 13 million tons, and medium term, it's 20 million tons. And the new concept government has brought in is hub and spoke silo grid model, wherein hubs will be created. That is typical procurement center, mandi, at the farm gate, that will have railway siding and dispatch section. With that hub, there will be 5 to 6 spokes connected, where farmer will bring the stocks, deliver it, that will be stored for a short time. That spokes will be without railway siding. From there, material will come to the hub. 5 spokes will cater to one hub. From the hub, material will go into the system through rail into the consuming area, where exactly similar system will be there in the form of hub and spoke. Material from hub will go to the consuming hub. From the consuming hub, it will be taken into the consuming spoke center. spoke center will be PDS center, where material into the ration shops will go. So this is a very big initiative government has taken, and more private players are getting attracted to this scheme because it assures a guaranteed sort of revenue model across 30 years. So major capacity is expected to come in the producing areas of Punjab, Haryana, UP, MP, and the rest. All the states will be covered under consuming areas. In the various forums, we have been giving suggestions to the government to phase out this open storage. CAP is cover and plinth open storage. It is nothing but food grain is kept in the open and just merely covered with the tarpaulin. So as on 1st July 2021, India was having 19.2 million tons of open storage. It's a big figure. So our suggestion is to phase out this cap storage and move to the modern silos. And India really needs modern mandis. Today, mandis are lacking basic infrastructure of weighments and drying. There are no drying facilities. Open drying planes are available. So idea is to create modern mandis so that farmer get benefit. Today, we can see states like Punjab, procurement of over 100 lakh tons in merely 20 days. You can imagine the state of mandis. There's total glut during the procurement season. So if government has modern mandis, farmer can think of delivering in a staggered manner rather than selling in distress. Then we are advocating the government to identify their surplus land, their vulnerable godowns, their defunct godowns, where they can modernize the storage from traditional godowns to vertical storage like silos. Of course, more and more bulk rakes are required. Government is creating silos, but there's no provision of movement. So they need to think about introducing bulk rakes. Precedence is already available. We have set the precedence. It's now on government and railway to think about bringing in more such rakes. There's a huge potential to think of modern storage for other commodities like rice and pulses, which is traditionally stored in a bagged form. Port-based silos is a big opportunity. Countries like China, they have converted all the storage into port-based facilities. Main advantage to have a port-based facility is the logistics cost is the most economical. If you are surplus, you are able to export at a very economical rates. If you are deficit, you can import. And of course, India needs to study international best practices in this field and bring in the change. So this is all from my side. I'm open to any questions anytime you may ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mehndiratta. I think this was a very insightful session on what Adani is doing, and Adani is a powerhouse as far as the port movement in the country is concerned, and a pioneer as far as the private ICDs and CFSs go in the country, especially on our west coast in the entire area of Gujarat. So I think a big round, of thank you to you and for powering such insightful thoughts. We move to our next panelist, Mr. Ganguly, and he went to the US after his schooling in Darjeeling, and he did his engineering and management from industrial engineering from Pennsylvania University, and he's a postgraduate degree in management engineering from Columbia University. After 10 years stay in US and working with DuPont, he returned to India, and he joined his family business of West Bengal Enamel Works, and he started working as a production planning engineer and works manager, and ultimately the managing director. His interest is renewable energy, which he started in '83, and he has commissioned over 100 megawatts of wind power in South India. His experience also covers solar energy, biomass, and waste energy. Mr. Ganguly is also committed to a green planet and is passion to replace fossil fuel burnt vehicles with green vehicles to make this planet more sustainable for human beings. I welcome Mr. Ganguly to throw some light on our pertaining topics and take this discussion forward. Over to you, sir.
Sir, you are on mute. If you can unmute, sir.
So you need to unmute.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Again, unmute, sir. Yeah, it's fine now.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hanif. I thank also the Indian Chamber for inviting me. It is my privilege. Thank you very much, all of you. You have been hearing mainly from the macroeconomics point of view of agricultural logistics. I'm not going to go into the macroeconomics. I'm going to go to the micro level, what we call the last mile connectivity. Because bulk handling of storage can be done through the rail, through the warehouse, but then from the warehouse to the consumer, that is very important initially, and that is where the bulk of the transportation takes place. We, Tata International is involved in electrical vehicles. We convert old IC engine vehicles, petrol, diesel, into electrical vehicles. We are also in the agriculture sector having glass fused to steel tanks and silos, that is enamel silos, because we are a company belonging to Bengal Enamel Works Limited, which was established in 1921. And silos is also an important part of the food industry because enamel silos do not allow fermentation to take place or deteriorate the quality. So we are now getting into the silo business. Anyway, I'll come back to the logistic aspect. My electrical vehicle has a long history. It goes back to the early 19th century when the horse buggy was converted into electrical vehicle. But then after the price decrease of petroleum products, crude oil, it became out of fashion to go into electrical vehicles. Now it is again coming, not only because of the cost factor, environment factor, but also the security aspect. Today, the petroleum crude oil has got proven reserve of about 20 to 22 years only. That means after 20 years, whatever reserves has been found is going to be out unless some new reserves are found. That is one aspect. Second aspect, as I said, is the environment aspect. You can see the rain that is causing havoc in all the cities. It is because of climate change, and that's where electrical vehicle needs to come and change the situation. Electrical vehicles from the warehouse or silos and tanks needs to be transported. Now it can be transported in four-wheelers or bigger lorries. It can be going to the market with the food grains. The fuel will be electrical battery and motors. That is the function of the vehicle. Electrical vehicles not only reduces costs, but it also reduces environment and climate change. Today, the government of India has made a policy that by 2030, all IC engines vehicles should be converted into electrical vehicles. By 2025, it is decided that the commercial vehicles will be made into electrical vehicles. That is, as I said, mentioned before, it is because of energy security, because reserve of crude oil is only about 22 years left, so far proven, because environment change is causing a lot of climate change, monsoon, heavy rain, total climate is changing. And of course, the battery costs, the mileage cost, it is much cheaper if you take on the long term. Initially, it is higher, but over a period of 5 years, it is cheaper. Electrical vehicles replaces the IC engine by a motor, AC motor or DC motor, and a battery. The battery can be lead acid battery like your torch batteries, or it can be lithium-ion batteries like your mobile batteries. The lithium-ion battery has a longer life of, let's say, 5,000 cycles or 10,000 cycles, whereas the other lead-acid battery has got about 400 cycles to 500 cycles. Now, again depends on. So what I'm going to discuss today is what are the misconceptions. People are afraid that to convert to electrical vehicle or buy an electrical vehicle because of what will happen if my battery runs out. That's a very important issue because today in India, the infrastructure for charging electrical vehicles is not yet ready. It's like the question, which comes first, the egg or the chicken? Globally, all the government agencies had taken initiative to have charging stations in every important places, like shopping malls and etc. But in India, we have not yet come out with, and that is one of the biggest worries for electrical vehicle manufacturers. But in the food industry, what I can see in the micro level, distance is not a big problem. Electrical vehicles can go up to 500 kilometers or more, depending upon the quantity of batteries you put. But the batteries, the more you put, the more costlier it becomes. In the cities, within 150 to 200 kilometers, it runs fine. You can charge it at your home every night. Unless the infrastructure is ready, there's going to be some problem. The cost, yes, initially the cost is higher, but if you look at the overall running over a period of 8 years, 5 to 8 years, it pays off. At the moment, what I have heard so far is about the macro level, transporting from the field, from the farm to the warehouse. Electrical vehicle will be more suitable at this stage from the warehouse to the consumer. And that is where it is important. Electrical vehicle will be very important for food delivery. You have got food delivery, Zomato and all these companies. Now they are converting into two-wheelers. Two-wheelers are used extensively electrical vehicles. Four-wheelers, yes, from the warehouse to the business houses, but two-wheelers to the last mile coverage. So electrical vehicle has to change, otherwise climate is going to change and we're going to be in very big trouble. Globally, all the countries have made policy and majority of the countries in the world have taken 2030 as the target. So has India taken. It is time that everybody looks into things. The electrical vehicle, it's not going to save the energy. It is going to save the climate and save the children, our children and grandchildren. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ganguly. I think a very pertinent topic which you have already raised up is the e-mobility, the electrical vehicles, and this is something which is the buzzword. If I may take the liberty of using the word, so I could say, Zomato. Well, definitely, there is a company called Ninja Kart, and I think they are doing fantastically well as far as the last mile of.
Mr. Hanif, there is some audio problem, audio disturbance in your system. Can you please check? Yeah, we can hear, but it's your voice is cracking.
There is a network issue or something. Is it clear now?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm saying is e-mobility is something which is very exciting, and this is something which is here, and this is the future. And all of us are certainly going to see a long way as far as the e-mobility is concerned. Right. So thank you, sir, and I think it was a very insightful session. People established the company which is as old as 1921. It's always exciting to understand and take history lessons from you. So this was very insightful. Thank you so very much, sir. Our next panelist, that is Mr. Harsh Singh, and he belongs to 13 Square Feet. This is a warehouse and infrastructure company. So over to you, Mr. Singh, for your address.
Thank you, Mr. Hanif. Actually, I'm from BuildMind, from 13 Square Feet.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So over to you, Mr. Singh.
Thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank ICC and all the participants for giving us this opportunity. And this presentation was supposed to be done.
Can you please speak a little louder?
Actually, is it audible now?
Yeah, it's audible. Speak a little louder.
Actually, this presentation was supposed to be done by Mr. Alok Bansal, but unfortunately, he is not present due to some personal issues. So I am representing on his behalf. My name is Harsh Singh, and I look after sales and business development of BuildMind. I would like to represent my profile now. Just give me a moment. So we Buildma Infra, an ISO certified company, and we help companies in setting up their warehouses, fulfillment centers, DCs, hubs, and cold storage units in pan-India location. And we are providing all the infrastructure services which you need to set up your BTS warehouse, or if you want to move in a ready warehouse. And you guys would be amazed to know that we are doing fantastic job. We are serving all the top-notch companies, be it a startup who is looking for expansion in terms of warehousing and FCs, or if it is a top-notch companies like Amazon and Flipkart, Big Basket, Grofers, Zomato. So you name the company in e-commerce and 3PL industry, and we are working with them. Starting with the presentation now. So the vision of Buildma Infra is to become one of the top 10 infrastructure companies in the world known for quality and timelines, and to be a partner to all the businesses in the world, and to build a company that lasts 100 years. And the mission is to solve procurement and infra problems and helping clients to get the project done within time. And the purpose is to audit, supply, design, build, and monitor. These are our core values. We are very passionate to build the infrastructure. We follow Speedality approach in all our projects. And we are known for our fastest responses in the industry. And we are always try to delivering best client experience to all our clients. And loving work, loving people is our internal core value. Coming to the next slide, this is how we work. We work as design and solution expert. That means having in-house team of designers, and we are generating all types of technical layouts. And turnkey solutions, we are providing turnkey solutions. That means we are providing all the infrastructure services which you need under one roof, end-to-end infrastructure services. And we are acting as PMC as well. We are helping Zomato and many other companies as a PMC consultant, and we are also acting as warehouse consultants. Post delivering the project, we are providing maintenance services as well in terms of AMC and audit partners. And we are also acting as infrastructure partner. That means we will sign up an agreement with the companies and will help in all their, be it a small or a big warehouse. We will build each and every facility for them in pan-India and subcontinents. Coming to the next slide, this is our in-house capabilities, having solution designing team to design all types of solutions, be it a core technical or advanced automation as well. And then PMCs, project management, procurement, and service excellence. Having team right from the root to the top level, in-house team around 150 plus engineers all across India. Coming to the next slide, this is now the work starts. The work starts with the layout, as I said earlier, the facility layout, warehouse modeling, RCP electrical layout, fire designs, heat mapping as well. Next is the warehouse construction, BTS solutions. The warehouse construction right from the scratch, from the raw land, designing and layouting, pre-engineered buildings, structural design and construction, flooring, industrial interiors, fire and life safety, rainwater harvesting, solar electricity, thermal insulation, and green warehousing as well. Complete BTS solution. We are having two teams basically. One is for greenfield project like BTS, and another team is for brownfield projects. The companies like 3PL and logistic company who take up the ready warehouses, and they need all types of infrastructure services there, like civil, MEP, electrical, fire, and all. That I will be explaining in the next slides. Civil construction services, complete civil and construction services. Mechanical and plumbing services, firefighting, fire hydrant and fire sprinkler system, HVAC system, plumbing and water, rainwater solutions. Complete solutions for mechanical and plumbing and electrical. So supplying heavy equipments like transformers, stabilizers, UPS and DG, to doing the lighting work and industrial and exhaust fans, solar EPC with robotic cleaning system, complete earthing work. All the solutions for electrical, complete turnkey solution. And the next slide is for cold storage. We are helping clients like Zomato, Licious, who is into cold storage units. We are helping them in building the complete puff panel partitions and other solutions which they need. And office partition, interior and furniture work. We are helping clients in setting up the offices in their warehouses, as well as in their corporate buildings as well. complete interior and fit out solution. So we are having complete solutions for ELV security, which includes fire alarm system, CCTV, intrusion detection, access control, and PA system, complete ELV solution. And we are a preferred vendor for Flipkart in all their ELV projects. We have, in terms of area, we have developed around 30 lakh square feet. I repeat, 30 lakh square feet in Pan India complete. The biggest warehouse is 7.5 lakh square feet, which is a current running project. And we are working on there in Gurgaon. There are many other 4.5 lakh square feet in Dankuni, 2.5 lakh square feet in Bangalore, and many other projects which we are doing for them. And the small sites like DCs and hubs, that if I take a number, it would be around 450 projects. Coming to the next slide, IT and networking work, doing basic wired and wireless infrastructure and setting up data centers for IT companies. We are doing end-to-end services in IT and networking work, doing the automations as well. This is the maintenance services. Post completing the project, we are specialized in maintaining the services, maintaining the complete facility, manage support services, providing manpowers L1 and L4 support engineers, which will be present at your site and helping you in your day-to-day petty jobs like internet is not working or your system is not working, you are facing challenges in electricity or plumbing work. So those engineers will be deployed at your site and will be working under your time zone and supporting you in your day-to-day petty issues which you face, so that your core team can focus on the core business of yours. And AMC services, complete warehouse AMC, CCTV, Pan India sites AMC, around 1,500 sites. We have taken AMC of Flipkart, complete DCs and hubs of in Pan India, and in individual item AMCs like electrical, firefighting, CCTV, HVAC and all. And we are having, just give me a moment, audit services as well. Audit services so that your facility is safe and secure and you're safe from any big blunder in the future. Audit services in electrical and energy audit, thermographic audit, IT and networking audit, which is very important for e-commerce companies as they have to match the TAT and all. HVAC and chillers, fire systems, CCTV and security audit. Coming to the next slide, these are some of the project footsteps. We are present in complete Pan India and we have subcontinents each as well. These are some of the recognitions. We won Innovative Warehouse Infrastructure Integrator of the Year in 2019. We delivered a very critical project for LF Logistics in Bhiwandi, and we did complete civil, MEP, electrical, fire, IT, networking, office interior, and supplied many other items as well. These are our esteemed clients. We are working with all the top companies, be it Flipkart, Amazon, Gati, DHL, Kuhen Nagel, Home Logistics, Big Basket. For Flipkart, we have signed up RC agreements, rate contract agreements, and it's running from last 3 years in mother hubs and DCs and their hubs as well. Amazon, we have signed up RC contract. Gati, DHL, Kuhen Nagel, we have signed up RC contracts with them. Gati, in Gati we have ELB and office interior, civil we are doing, Kuhen Nagel we are doing complete FCs, Ecom Express we have done around 45 projects in Pan India. So VMI is providing end-to-end solutions for warehousing and logistics, in warehousing and logistics. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Bansal, and I think the right cold chain can only work when you have a quality infrastructure. And I think you guys are certainly doing a commendable job as far as building up sizable and classy infrastructure. So EP structures is something which is where we are, and I think fantastic work done. Really coming to you.
Mr. Hanif, sorry to say, your voice is cracking and we are unable to hear you. I mean, we can hear you, but unable to understand since the voice is cracking. There's a lot of disturbance.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Sir, we can hear you, but your voice is cracking.
You can use your headphone
Yes,
or
that would be
hands-free.
Any headphone, I'm using the system out here very clearly. I think there is some net connectivity issue in the.
Maybe that can be.
Maybe the internet is going up and down. Maybe is it clear now? Is it clear now?
You can this thing invite the next speaker, and then if you can rejoin.
Yes.
Handed over to Palak Asnani, and I think she's been working with 13 square feet since its inception. I handed over to you, Palak, and I think you've done some fantastic job. Yeah, with Kaiser, Red-Band, and some SaaS companies as well. I'd be extremely keen to listen to you, and I'll rejoin. Right? Over to you.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Palak Asnani. I am the marketing manager at 13squarefeet.com. And as rightly pointed out by Sir, I've been working with 13 Square Feet since its inception. First of all, a very big thank you. We are absolutely delighted. Thank you so much, ICC, for giving us this opportunity, this platform to be present among such eminent speakers and industry stalwarts. And thank you for this opportunity for giving us a platform to speak about what 13 Square Feet is. And I'll be speaking a little bit more about with my presentation, and I'm going to start now. Give me a second. I'm going to quickly share my screen with you. So here's introducing 13squarefeet.com to everybody, India's first platform built especially for warehouses, logistics, cold chain, and industries. The idea of 13 Square Feet really stemmed from the fact that there is no such common platform, or rather a more frequently used term nowadays in the industry can be a one-stop shop solution for all your industrial needs, be it warehousing, be it racking and storage, be it automation, be it conveyors, 3PL, freight, for your fulfillment centers, for your DC hubs, for your manufacturing facilities, and so on all. 13squarefeet.com is a one-stop shop solution. We like to call it the Amazon of warehousing and logistics industries, where you can find A to Z, everything and anything related to your factory, your commercial industry requirements, be it spaces and lands, material handling, racking and storage, packaging, infrastructure. This screenshot that you see right here is of our current website, which went live about 8 to 9 months ago. And we've been gaining a lot of traction ever since then. Partners have over 250 plus premium partners, helping a lot of clients save cost, time, and money as well. Please do check out our website, www.13squarefeet.com. I'll be speaking more about it in the incoming slides. The objective and motivation to launch 13 Square Feet, a digital platform, was to help ease our customers' challenges and pain points in the buying process and cycle. So we can help them achieve their project timelines, reducing their turnaround time, assisting the business heads, the procurement managers, the supply chain managers in validating their current expenditures. Also guided buying and consultancy to select the right products from the right vendors out there in the market. As we all know that the warehousing industry is growing at an exponential rate nowadays. In 2020, the sector has reached 676 billion. According to IMARC research study, it's growing at a CAGR rate of 9.1%. And so is cold chain, which is gaining a lot of traction in the past couple of years. But at the same time, the industry is very fragmented. And this is probably because the lack of an unorganized sector. It is still considered to be an unorganized sector. 90% of the players come from a different background. And similarly goes for logistics as well as for the warehousing sector as well. We spoke to a lot of companies out there in the market. We spoke to e-commerce companies, automation companies, that what are your pain points? What is your customer journey? How do you start by? They said that if we want to set up our own facility, first we're going to look for whether should we go for finding a land or space. Then should we go for a ready-to-move warehouse? Should we go for a build-to-suit option? Then, of course, which kind of contractor should we go and look out for, who's going to build it? what should be the best storage optimization strategy? How can we reduce the floor space area? Which material or machine should we use? Can we go for a forklift? Should we go for a reach truck? Should we buy RFID scanners? Should we go for a warehouse management system? What kind of technologies can we adapt? Of course, how much manpower is required? And then ultimately the million-dollar question, that how many millions is this going to cost me, the entire project? These companies told us that they either resort to Google or IndiaMart sort of platforms. As you can see right here, the average monthly searches of keywords like automation, storage shells, pallet truck, they are resolving in thousands and in fact in lakhs as well. But while these two are brilliant platforms, but you cannot rely on them for expert guidance. Like Google, these are all players who are relying on SEO. So whosoever has the best SEO is going to win the game. So how do you trust which is the best blog post should I read? Should I go for a pallet tracking solution? How is cold chain going to help me? Which is the best vendor out there in the market? So enter 13squarefeet.com. Integrator, aggregator, and e-commerce portal for logistics, 3PL technologies, spaces, industrial solutions, consultants, contractors, service providers. This is the base of our 250 plus premium partners who have supported us since day one, are partnering and selling their products online onto our portal, www.13squarefeet.com. We are also helping many companies, e-commerce companies and logistic companies find the best suitable warehouse properties. We are partnered with Greenbase, Hiranandani. We are partnered with All Cargo, Safe Express, DTDC, some of the premium brand names in the industry. Where we are today, 1,000 plus products listed, 250 plus partners onboarded, and 80 plus active categories. You can buy, sell, and rent with us spaces and lands, types of racking solutions, PEB, flooring, roofing, HVAC, HVLS, the best technologies out there in the market, whether you should go for an AGV or go for an AMR system, what is going to be the cost expenditure, which is the best MHE solution should you go for, should we buy a wooden pallet or a plastic pallet? Everything is available on 13squarefeet.com. Now, we just didn't want to make this a very transactional platform, make it a buyer-seller meet platform, and that's it. There are many other people who are doing something similar. We also want to make this a knowledge-sharing platform where we are focusing on building more communities. So we have a separate section for blogs where we also give mentions to our brands who are partnered with us, where they can also speak about their USPs, their differentiators, and how they're achieving greater heights in the market. Featured recommendation is a special slot which is given to companies who are launching unique products in the market and who have examples and success stories to share, that how this particular product has helped reduce manual labor by this much and how it is increasing efficiency by 5% or 10% in the current warehouse automation. This section is dedicated to highlighting new products and launches as well, or innovative sections in the market. Deal of the month is again another section which is given to vendors who want to publish exclusive deals onto our platform. Now, a lot of times companies do not publish these deals onto online portals, but in lieu of leveraging a longer term relationship, that extra added guarantee or warranty can really make or mar the case in these transactions. Our target audience industry, of course, ranges from 3PL, 4PL, brokers, landowners, furnitures, FMCG, cold storage, agriculture, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals. Anyone or everyone who's looking for a facility, a commercial space, a manufacturing facility, a warehouse, a retail center, a DC center, a fulfillment center, and 13 square feet is there for you. What kind of benefits we have for our buyers? Of course, a big pool of vendor base and choosing the right vendors as per your budgets and as per your need, and of course doing all technical specification requirement gathering, multiple quotations so that your procurement and supply chain team does not have to go out there in the market and then take quotations and estimations and then present it to the upper management. We are going to take all that headache off your shoulder. Cost optimization, of course, an entire project management consultancy model which we wish to establish here. These are some of our clients whom we have worked with in the past. We have helped them achieve, save their cost through time. We have helped them deliver conveyors, material handling equipments, pallets. For Flipkart especially, we were doing an entire surveillance project, and now we're in touch with them for multiple projects pan-India. with LF Logistics, so with Bilma Infra as well, and 3AC Supply Chain. We have a contract signed with these companies where we're doing their complete procurement for them. What kind of benefits we have for our partners or our vendors or sellers. Now we wanted to create a 365-day virtual exhibition sort of a platform where they have the opportunity to grow digitally for especially new entrants in the market who are perhaps not very well known, but have an amazing quality of engineers and technicians team who are ready to deliver and are not getting the chance because of maybe sometimes premium players out there in the market. We also do social media and marketing services for these current companies, of course, to help them scale their business pan-India digitally. These are some of our partners who were associated with us and were able to generate an ROI within days of our partnership. Now, in order to digitize the entire process, we are making a complete suite, a software suite, where everything is digitized in your entire supply chain and procurement model, starting from maybe a lead board where you can go to the website, post your requirement, and then there's an entire software where there's a budget authority need timeline check, which is being done. The quotations are prepared in an automated manner. We also have a warehouse listing dashboard. Very soon an app is going to be developed. The entire concept and idea of 13 square feet is to reduce the customer acquisition time for our partners, help them grow their business, and of course, reducing TAT for our customers, and build this one-stop shop for A to Z, everything and anything related to warehousing and logistics. Thank you.
Am I clear now? Am I clear now or still not
Yes,
clear?
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely fine now.
Okay, thanks. So I think a good session, and thank you, Palak. This was really very insightful. And we also are doing certain projects on silos. So, that's something, which we should connect on. And I'll make sure that we have our lead Soma Day. I'll make sure that she links up with you. And let's just chat over this. Interesting, and thank you so much. And great, insightful session. And I would say thank you, ICC, for hosting this session. This was really extremely insightful. And I think we spoke on varied topics, starting from the logistics of the food grains, moving over to e-mobility, and then moving over to building infra. Both BMI and 13 square feet, I think, are certainly doing a fantastic job. If we have any question and answers, we can. Otherwise, we've tried to do that during the course of the conversation. And I hand it over to the directors there. Ma'am, I hand it over to you, and take it over, and let's call it a day.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Hanif. And we are thankful to all our eminent panelists who have joined today. It was really indeed a very, very engaging session. And I would convey our special thanks to all our sponsors who have supported this initiative, including Ministry of Food Processing, Government of India, Freak India Limited, Coldman Logistics Private Limited, Tara International, Bank of Baroda, Bilma Infra, and 13squarefeet.com. So we are really thankful to all of our sponsors and also eminent panelists who have addressed us. And it was really a great session we had. And to all our participants and attendees, we will be sending the link of the live video, and also it is available in YouTube also, you can check. And anybody is asking, some people are asking for certificates, e-certificates. We will provide the e-certificates. You can contact Mr. Sanjay Mukherjee for the certificates of participation. And with these words, we thank you all. And we are thankful to all the organizations who have joined here. And from ICC. It's a very nice day ahead, and we welcome and we wish you all the very best for the coming days. And we will meet up and we will prepare the recommendations shortly and send it to you for your suggestions and if any corrections you want. And then we will finalize it and we will send it to the relevant authorities, maybe Food Processing Ministry, Agriculture Ministry, National Horticulture Board, and other Railway Ministry and other Road Transport Ministry for their information and reference. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.